Ever wondered how you can make your Ford F150 sound like a Ferrari? Welcome to a world where the roar of a Ford can mimic the symphony of a Ferrari. In this video, we're going to take you on a journey of transformation. A journey that will make your trusty Ford F150 sound like the Italian stallion itself, a Ferrari, so please hit subscribe. Imagine the thrill of revving up your engine, and instead of the familiar rumble, you hear the high-pitched purr of a Ferrari. It's about taking something so commonplace, so familiar, and giving it a twist that leaves people astounded. We're talking about surprising your neighbors, turning heads on the street, and adding a layer of mystery to your daily drive. We'll guide you through the process step by step, explaining the differences in sound, what equipment you'll need, how to modify the exhaust and adjust the engine. If you have not already, please hit subscribe. So buckle up and stick around if you want your Ford F150 to rumble like an Italian beast. First, let's understand why a Ferrari sounds different from a Ford F150. You see, the heart of the matter lies in the engines. A Ferrari typically houses a high-revving V8 or V12 engine, known for their symphony of high-pitched roars. These engines are engineered to run at high RPMs, producing a distinct adrenaline-rushing sound. Each cylinder fires at a precise moment, creating a smooth and harmonious melody. On the other hand, the Ford F150, America's beloved workhorse, comes with a range of engine options, including a V6 and a V8. These engines are designed for low-end torque and durability, focusing more on raw power and towing capacity than on creating an operatic exhaust note. They run at lower RPMs, and their firing sequence gives a deep, throaty growl, much like a bear awakening from hibernation. Now, let's talk about the exhaust systems. The exhaust system of a Ferrari is a work of art in itself. It's meticulously designed to amplify the engine's acoustics, giving it that iconic, high-pitched scream. The exhaust gases are channeled through carefully tuned pipes, creating resonances that add to the overall sound. The Ford F150, in contrast, has a more straightforward exhaust system. Its primary purpose is to expel exhaust gases efficiently and reduce engine noise. It's built for practicality, not for creating a concert in the exhaust. In simpler terms, think of a Ferrari as a finely tuned violin, each string perfectly tightened to produce a specific high-pitched note. The Ford F150, meanwhile, is more like a robust drum, providing a deep, resonant beat. So, you see, the difference in sound between a Ferrari and a Ford F150 is not just about branding or aesthetics. It's a direct result of their design philosophies, the differences in their engines and their exhaust systems. Now that we understand the science behind the sound, let's dive into the process. Before we begin, make sure you have all the necessary equipment. Now, to turn your Ford F150 into a sound-alike Ferrari, you'll need a few things. First off, a quality exhaust system. This is crucial because it's where the magic happens. It's like the vocal cords of your car, and we're about to give it an Italian accent. Next up, you'll need an appropriate set of tools: wrenches, screwdrivers, a socket set, the usual suspects. Don't forget your safety gear too: gloves, safety glasses, and perhaps a sturdy pair of boots. You know, just in case that exhaust decides to fall on your foot. Lastly, you'll need patience. This isn't your everyday oil change, but believe me, the end result is worth every minute spent. Remember, it's not just about making noise, it's about producing a symphony, a melody that turns heads and raises eyebrows. With our tools ready, we can now start the transformation. The first step in our sound transformation is modifying the exhaust system. Now, you might be wondering, how does one change the roar of an F150 into the symphony of a Ferrari? Well, it's all in the exhaust system. This is where the magic happens. But remember, just like any magic trick, it requires precision and attention to detail, so we're going to take this step by step. We start by swapping out the stock exhaust. See, stock exhausts are designed to be quiet and efficient, but we're not looking for quiet here, are we? We're looking for that Italian opera that is the Ferrari's exhaust note. To achieve this, we'll need a performance exhaust system. These are designed to reduce back pressure and create that deep, throaty sound we're after. Once we've got our performance exhaust, we'll need to install it. This is where safety comes in. Always remember to let your vehicle cool down before working on the exhaust. Those pipes can get hot, and we don't want any surprise singes. So suit up in your safety gear: gloves, goggles, the works. Now it's time to remove the old exhaust. You'll need a wrench and a good amount of elbow grease. Once removed, it's time to install our new performance exhaust. This process can be a bit tricky, so take your time. Make sure all the components are aligned correctly and everything is tightened securely. We don't want any rattling or leaks down the line. Now, let's talk about the muffler. This is a key component in the sound production process. A performance muffler will help us fine-tune the sound, making it closer to our goal. That sweet, sweet Ferrari note. Finally, we have to consider the exhaust tips. These not only add to the aesthetic appeal, but can also influence the sound. Larger rounded tips can help amplify the sound, giving us that extra oomph. Remember, this isn't just about making noise, it's about creating a symphony, a melody that turns heads and raises eyebrows. With our exhaust system modified, we're halfway there. This is where the real fun begins. So buckle up as we rev up for the next step. The next step is adjusting the engine to mimic the high revving nature of a Ferrari. Please hit subscribe button now. Now remember, every engine is a symphony of moving parts and we're about to become the maestro. We're going to make that Ford F150 sing like a prancing horse from Maranello, but before we dive in, remember, safety first. Always disconnect the battery before working on your engine. Firstly, we need to adjust the engine's RPM, or revolutions per minute. The Ferrari hum we're after comes from a high revving engine. To increase the RPM, we need to adjust the engine's throttle. Look for a small screw on the throttle body. Turning it clockwise increases the RPM, while counterclockwise reduces it. It's a delicate process, so turn it gradually and test the engine's sound. Next, we're going to adjust the camshaft. The camshaft controls the opening and closing of the engine's valves, and by adjusting it, we can further replicate that Ferrari sound. Find the camshaft adjuster, typically located at the top of the engine. Adjust it to a higher position to allow for more air and fuel to enter the combustion chamber. This will result in a higher revving, more aggressive engine sound. The final step in our engine adjustment is the timing. This controls when the spark plugs fire, igniting the fuel-air mixture. Adjusting the timing can give your engine a sharper, more responsive sound. Look for the distributor cap on your engine, and adjust the timing by rotating it. Remember, small adjustments can make a big difference, so take it slow. To wrap up the engine adjustment, remember to double-check all your adjustments. Make sure the screws are tightened and the adjustments are secure. After all, we don't want any hiccups when we fire up that engine and let it roar. And there you have it, the engine adjustment is done. Now strap in, because next we're going to finalize and test our newly tuned engine. Let's see if we've managed to make that Ford F150 purr like a Ferrari. Now, for the final step, testing our modifications. So, you've made it this far, and that's no small feat. You've modified your exhaust, tweaked your engine, and now it's time to hear the symphony you've created. But before you rev that engine and wake up the entire neighborhood, let's talk about how to test your modifications safely and effectively. First and foremost, safety should be your #1 priority. Always ensure your surroundings are clear and safe. You don't want to be that guy who revs his engine only to find out he's parked too close to a priceless antique, or worse yet, a neighbor's pet. Now let's talk about the testing process. Start your Ford F150 and let it idle for a few minutes. This allows the engine to warm up and the modifications to settle in. Listen closely to the idling sound. If it's smooth and steady, that's a good sign. Next, give your engine a few gentle revs. Gradually increase the RPMs, paying close attention to the sound. Does it sound closer to a Ferrari? Does it make your heart race and your adrenaline pump? If yes, then you, my friend, have done a stellar job. However, not all tests may go as smoothly. If you hear any unusual sounds like rattling or popping, don't fret. It could simply mean that some adjustments are needed. Maybe the exhaust tip needs tightening or the engine timing needs a little tweaking. Remember, perfection takes time, and your Ford F150 didn't become a Ferrari overnight. Finally, take your newly enhanced beast for a spin. Notice how it feels on the open road, how it roars around the corners. Relish the feeling of turning heads and making people wonder if a Ferrari just drove by. So there you have it. You've taken a journey from a humble Ford F150 to a roaring, heart-stopping, Ferrari-like marvel. Congratulations, you've successfully made your Ford F150 sound like a Ferrari. Please subscribe and like.